Do you ever feel like the universe is trying to get your attention? You glance at your phone, and the time is 11:11. You grab a coffee, and the total is $4.44. On the drive home, a license plate in front of you reads 333. The first time, it's a curiosity. The second, it's a coincidence. But when it keeps happening, you start to wonder if something more is going on. It can feel like a secret code, a message meant just for you. You're not alone in this. Millions of people report seeing these repeating number sequences, which have become known as angel numbers. But as soon as the wonder sets in, the rational part of your mind usually kicks in, asking, is this real? Is this some kind of divine message, a sign that I'm on the right path? Or is it just my brain playing tricks on me, a simple pattern recognition quirk that doesn't mean anything? Well, the answer isn't as simple as choosing a side. Something very real is happening, whether you lean towards spiritual guidance or pure psychology. The truth is actually far more interesting and lies in the fascinating intersection between the two. In this video, we're going to explore both the spiritual traditions that give these numbers their meaning and the modern neuroscience that explains why our minds are so good at spotting them. By the end, you'll not only understand why you see 111 everywhere but also have a new way of thinking about what it means when the universe seems to speak to you in code. The spiritual perspective, whispers from the universe. Let's start with the explanation that speaks to the heart, the one that has provided comfort and guidance to people for centuries, the spiritual perspective. When we talk about seeing repeating numbers like 111 or 222, we're stepping into the world of numerology, but the specific term angel numbers is actually quite modern. It was popularized in the early 2000s by author Doreen Virtue, who taught that these sequences are messages from guardian angels. However, the idea that numbers themselves hold a mystical meaning is ancient. This practice, known as numerology, has roots in several early civilizations, but it's most famously associated with the Greek philosopher Pythagoras back in the 6th century BC. Pythagoras believed that the universe was built on mathematics. He taught that everything, from the planets to our own souls, could be understood through numbers. For him, numbers weren't just for counting, they were the language of the cosmos, each holding a specific vibration and meaning. This worldview suggests the universe isn't a cold, random place but a conscious entity that's constantly communicating with us. It sends signs to guide, reassure, and nudge us along our path. In this view, repeating numbers are one of the most common ways it does this. Think of them as celestial text messages. They show up as a sign of alignment, confirmation, or even a gentle warning, delivered at the exact moment you need it. The spiritual interpretation is that your guides, your higher self, or your angels are trying to get your attention to offer support and encouragement. So, what are these messages supposed to mean? While personal intuition is key, there are widely accepted modern interpretations for the most common sequences. First up is 111. This is often the first repeating number people start to see. In numerology, the number 1 represents new beginnings, creation, and manifestation. When you see it tripled as 111, that energy is amplified. Seeing 111 is considered a powerful wake-up call that your thoughts are manifesting into reality with incredible speed. It's as if the universe is taking a snapshot of your mind and saying, this, what you're thinking about right now is being created. Make sure it's what you want. If you see 111 while worrying about money, it's a nudge to shift your focus to abundance. If you see it while dreaming of a new project, it's a confirmation that you're on the right track. Then there's 222. The number 2 is all about balance, harmony, relationships, and trust. When you repeatedly see 222, it's often a message of reassurance. It's a sign to have faith that you are in the right place at the right time, even if things feel uncertain. It encourages you to maintain balance in your life, in your work, in your relationships, and between your spiritual and material goals. Seeing 222 can also suggest that a new partnership is on the horizon or that your existing relationships need your attention. Next is 333. The number 3 vibrates with creativity, communication, and self-expression. It's also often connected to the presence of ascended masters, spiritually enlightened beings who are said to guide humanity. When 333 appears, it's seen as a powerful sign of divine support. It's a message that you are being guided and protected as you learn to speak your truth and use your natural gifts to uplift yourself and others. Seeing 333 can be a validation that your spiritual growth is expanding. How about 444? The number 4 represents stability, structure, and protection. Think of the 4 corners of a house or the 4 legs of a table. It's about building a solid foundation. Seeing 444 is widely interpreted as a message that you are surrounded by angelic protection. It's a sign of immense comfort, letting you know that your spiritual team is with you, providing strength and stability. If you've been working hard toward a goal, 444 is a sign that your effort is building a secure future. Finally, let's look at 555. If 4 is about stability, 5 is its dynamic opposite. The number 5 is the number of change, freedom, and transformation. When you see 555, a significant change is likely on the horizon. This sequence is a heads up that major shifts are coming. These changes might feel chaotic at first, but 555 is a message that they are necessary for your growth. It's an invitation to release what's no longer serving you and embrace the new opportunities flowing into your life. In this framework, seeing these numbers is never random. It's a form of communication designed to offer guidance at key moments. But as comforting as this is, it's only half of the story. To get the full picture, we also have to look inward, at the incredible machine that is processing all of this, your brain. We're about to shift from the mystical to the scientific, and honestly, the way your brain is wired to see these patterns is just as magical in its own way. If you're enjoying this exploration and want more content that unpacks the hidden meanings in our lives, take a second to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. The scientific perspective, your brain's pattern matching machine. Alright, let's explore the intricate landscape of the human brain. For the skeptic or the simply curious, the idea of angels sending messages through license plates might sound a bit far-fetched. So, what does science say about why you're suddenly seeing 111 everywhere? The answer lies in a few well-documented cognitive functions that govern how we perceive the world. First, we need to talk about a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS. The RAS is a bundle of nerves in your brainstem that acts as your brain's ultimate filter. Every second, your senses are flooded with millions of bits of data, the hum of your computer, the feeling of your clothes, the countless shapes and colors around you. If your conscious mind had to process all of that, it would shut down instantly. The RAS's job is to filter all that noise and decide what's important enough to bring to your conscious attention. And how does it decide what's important? You tell it. Whatever you focus on, whatever you tag as significant, your RAS starts looking for it in your environment. Here's a classic example. Have you ever decided you want to buy a specific car, say, a red Jeep? You think about it, do some research, and you've now flagged red Jeep as important to your brain. All of a sudden, you see red Jeeps everywhere. It feels like there's been a population boom of red Jeeps overnight. But there hasn't. The number of Jeeps hasn't changed, your awareness of them has. Your RAS is now actively scanning your environment for this pattern and pushing it through to your conscious mind. Now, let's apply this to angel numbers. You glance at the clock and notice it's 11:11. Maybe a friend mentioned it, or you read an article about it. You think, that's interesting. In that moment, you've just tagged the sequence 1111 as significant. Your RAS gets to work, scanning the endless sea of numbers you encounter every day and starts highlighting every instance of 111 it finds. You were always seeing these numbers, you just weren't noticing them. This common experience is known as the frequency illusion, or the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. This is a two-part cognitive bias. First, our selective attention, governed by the RAS, is primed to notice something. Second, another bias called confirmation bias kicks in. This is our natural tendency to look for and remember information that confirms what we already believe. So, once you start to think that seeing 111 is special, your confirmation bias makes you remember every time you see it, reinforcing the belief. At the same time, you'll effortlessly forget the hundreds of other numbers you saw that day: 347, $15.92, 749. Those don't fit the pattern, so your brain discards them as irrelevant. This creates a powerful feedback loop. The more you notice the numbers, the more significant they feel, and the more significant they feel, the more you notice them. This points to an even broader human tendency called apophenia, the impulse to see meaningful patterns in random data. It's why we see faces in clouds or animals in burnt toast. Our brains are fundamentally pattern matching machines. For our ancestors, this was a crucial survival skill. Recognizing the pattern of rustling leaves that signaled a predator was a life or death ability. Apophenia is a byproduct of this evolutionary trait. We are hardwired to look for meaning, so our minds will sometimes create it to make sense of the chaos. Finally, we can't talk about this without mentioning the psychiatrist Carl Jung and his concept of synchronicity. Jung was fascinated by events connected by meaning rather than by cause and effect. He defined synchronicity as a meaningful coincidence, where an event in the outer world aligns with an inner state, like a thought or a dream. The most famous example he shared was of a patient who was describing a dream where she received a golden scarab beetle. At that exact moment, Jung heard a tapping on his window, opened it, and caught a beetle that flew in, the closest local equivalent to a golden scarab. He handed it to her and said, "Here is your scarab." The event was so stunning that it broke through her rational defenses and led to a therapeutic breakthrough. While Jung didn't write about angel numbers specifically, we can see how his idea applies. From this perspective, seeing repeating numbers isn't a message sent to you from an outside source. It's a phenomenon created by you, or more specifically, by your brain. It's your RAS doing its job, amplified by cognitive biases, and driven by your innate desire to find meaning. This might sound like it debunks the whole idea. But what if the science doesn't negate the meaning, but actually explains the very mechanism through which the meaning is delivered? The bridge, where both are true. So, we have two different explanations. One is spiritual, divine messengers sending coded signals. The other is scientific, a predictable set of brain functions filtering your reality. But what if it's not a battle at all? What if it's a collaboration? This is the bridge where both explanations can coexist and even enrich one another. Consider this: what if the reticular activating system and our pattern recognition abilities aren't just quirks that create illusions? What if they are the very mechanism through which a deeper wisdom communicates with us? Think of it like a radio. A radio is a piece of technology that works on scientific principles. You won't find a tiny musician inside of it. But does that mean the music isn't real? Of course not. The radio is the receiver, the device that translates an invisible signal into something we can perceive. Now, apply that to angel numbers. Your brain, with its RAS and cognitive biases, is the radio. It's the biological hardware. The spiritual message, whether you believe it comes from angels, the universe, or your own higher self, is the broadcast signal. Your subconscious mind knows what you need to pay attention to. It knows you're at a crossroads and need to think about new beginnings. So, it primes your RAS to look for the number 1. Your RAS then does its job, filtering reality and showing you every 111 it can find. Your conscious mind sees the number and feels a jolt of recognition. The message has been delivered. The science explains the how, the mechanics of the delivery. The spirituality explains the why, the intention behind it. From this viewpoint, Carl Jung's concept of synchronicity is the perfect bridge. He saw these events as a meaningful interplay between our inner world and the outer world. Seeing 111 right when you're thinking about starting a new business isn't just your RAS at work, it's a synchronistic event where the outer world is mirroring your inner state in a profoundly meaningful way. This leads to the most empowering conclusion: does it ultimately matter where the message comes from? Whether it's an angel or your own subconscious trying to get your attention, the result is the same. You are being prompted to pause, reflect, and become more aware. Dismissing it as just your brain is a missed opportunity. Your brain is the most sophisticated tool you have. If a part of your mind is using a clever system to bring a crucial thought to your attention, isn't that a form of profound inner guidance? The two ideas are not in conflict, they are two sides of the same coin. The brain is the messenger, but you are the one who gets to read the message. Practical application: how to work with the signs. Understanding the why is one thing, but the real power comes from knowing what to do next. So, the next time you see a repeating number sequence, don't just dismiss it. Treat it as a call to action, delivered by the universe through your own brain. Here's how you can work with these signs. First, pause, and be present. The moment you see the number, stop what you're doing. Take a deep breath. Acknowledge the sign with a silent, "Thank you." This simple act shifts you out of autopilot and into a state of mindfulness. Second, ask, what was I just thinking or feeling? This is the most critical step. These numbers often act as a spotlight on your inner state. What was the exact thought in your mind when you saw the number? Were you worrying? Daydreaming? Feeling frustrated? The number is often directly related to that thought. For example, seeing 111 while worrying is a signal to pivot your thoughts to a more positive outcome. Third, reflect on the number's meaning. Keep the popular interpretations in mind as a starting point. 111, manifestation. Ask yourself, are my thoughts aligned with the reality I want to create? 222, balance. Ask, where in my life do I need more balance? Am I trusting the process? 333, support. Ask, am I using my creative gifts? How can I better express my truth? 444, protection. Ask, do I feel supported and secure? What foundations do I need to strengthen? 555, change. Ask, what change am I resisting or need to embrace? What old patterns am I ready to release? Fourth, journal about it. This is a powerful way to track patterns. Keep a synchronicity journal. Write down the number, the context, and what you were thinking or feeling. Over time, you'll start to see clear themes emerge, creating your own personal codebook for these signs. Fifth, use it as an affirmation prompt. Turn the sighting into an active practice. If you see 444, a number of protection, take a moment to affirm. I am safe, protected, and supported on my path. If you see 111, you could say, my thoughts are powerful, and I am creating a beautiful reality. This actively reinforces the message. Finally, trust your intuition. While the general meanings are a great guide, the interpretation is ultimately personal. The universe speaks to you in a language you will understand. Pay attention to your gut feeling. What does the number mean to you in that specific moment? Your intuition is your most reliable guide. By following these steps, you become an active co-creator in your life. The numbers become practical tools for self-awareness and personal growth. We started by asking if seeing repeating numbers is a divine message or just your brain playing tricks. We've since discovered that the answer is a breathtaking yes to both. It is your brain. It's the elegant machinery of your reticular activating system, filtering an ocean of information to show you what you've deemed important. It's the predictable dance of the frequency illusion and confirmation bias, making these patterns feel impossibly common. And yet, it is also a message. It's a synchronicity, a meaningful alignment of your inner and outer worlds. It's a whisper from your own intuition, reminding you to pay attention and to consciously direct your thoughts toward the life you want. The science doesn't cancel the magic, it gives us a blueprint for how the magic works. Your brain isn't tricking you, it's serving you. It's the antenna, perfectly designed to pick up the signals you need to hear, right when you need to hear them. So, the next time you glance at the clock and see 111, smile. Take a deep breath. Appreciate the incredible collaboration between the universe and your own mind. See it not as a mystery to be solved, but as a conversation to be had. Ask yourself, what was I just thinking, and is it aligned with my deepest desires? Because in the end, whether it's angels or neurons, the message is the same: you are guided. You are powerful. And the universe is always speaking to you. You just have to be willing to listen. I'm curious to hear how this shows up in your life. What repeating numbers have you been seeing lately? And after watching this, how will you look at them differently? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your stories create a powerful space for all of us to learn and grow. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the tools that help us navigate this incredible journey. Thank you for being here.